is already being fixed closely and firmly. And there are several different tracks who is not being held tightly. It is going to guarantee the high efficiency of working procedure one by one, and one track by another. We are going to connect them to this track. I have mentioned that for one track project, it is going to be paved and carted at 500 meters. Let me tell you how long the railway is. It is around 9 kilometers. It is actually the first Chinese innovated track laying technologies. I believe for such equipment, it can pave 9 kilometers within one day. According to this estimation, we are going to finish all the track laying work by the end of June. For such a long track, it's actually very heavy to be paved. Only relying on the promoter's strength cannot finish all the procedures. I also believe there are other equipments which is also very helpful. Let's look at what is behind me. You cannot find an ending point of the views. For such a long distance, there are actually 2 locomotives pushing the promoter to move forward. The reason we are using the 2 locomotives is because we have used to try one locomotive. We find the strength provided by the one locomotive is not sufficient enough. And sometimes the power and also the push it provided is uneven and unbalanced. It is also going to create some of the long-term vulnerable points or even fragile points in the track layings. I believe the 2 locomotive driver is actually working together in accordance with each other. We have also built a balance bar to balance the strength between the locomotive. At the same time, we have also designed a remote system to operate the whole system. So during the track laying, we are using the 2 locomotives to work together. This is also the technology firstly adopted in China and innovated in China. I believe with the remote locomotive system, we can not only guarantee the strength, and during the track laying procedure, no matter the workers or the engineers actually start from Shaoxing or start from Hangzhou, they are all working at the same pace. You could see the workers is actually pushing a yellow cart. This is actually the cart to screw in. As long as they are working together alongside the track, it is going to gradually screw all the different nails inside. We could see the workers is really working in a quite familiar way, and all the crews are starting the track laying procedure. If you are watching our live streaming, you can leave your comments in the CCTV news, and you can actually give us all kinds of questions about the track laying procedures. Your question will be answered. I also believe at the site of the Hangzhou track laying construction sites, compared with the previous construction sites, there are some of the differences. Let's have a closer look. For this high-speed Railway, it is being paved with cement instead of the previous bastard track. So alongside it, it is the Taiwan Railway, connecting Taizhou and Wenzhou, and we could see the Taiwan Railway is a bastard track. The reason for the Taiwan Railway to be paved with all the different bastard and stone pieces, it actually can be explained. All the different stones are supporting the whole track structure. The reason for Hangzhou Tai high-speed railway to be supported by the cement is because if the Hangzhou Tai railway is speeding up, it is going to spill all the different stones up, and it's also going to hurt the railway construction and also hurt the railway track and also the locomotive. That's the reason why, with the progress of technology, the Hangzhou high-speed railway is actually adopting the non-bastard track, and that is to say the cement track. I believe it is the technology directing the future trend for high-speed railway. Here we could see there's one friend from the chat room who asked a question is about the privatizations of the high-speed railway. Let's direct this question to the directors of the Hangzhou Tai Railway, who's also the general secretary of the Hangzhou Tai high-speed railway project. Director Ma, can you give us an answer to the question? Is it indicating the privatizations of the high-speed railway? Dear viewers online, thank you. Hangzhou Tai high-speed railway is actually the first private-owned high-speed railway. It is a national maneuver to attract more private capitals in the railway construction. It is a governmental-led private company invested high-speed railway. Actually, after 30 years, it is going to be delivered to the nation. Before the construction, the state-owned equity is accounted for 49%, while the private equity is accounted for 51%. It's not 100% privately owned, because there's a lot of netizens asking about the questions about the privatizations of the high-speed railway. There's another question from the internet. So are all the private companies who is invested in this high-speed railway coming from Zhejiang Province? Thank you very much for your question. Private capitals is quite thriving in Zhejiang, and they are accounting for a large share of the investment of the Hangzhou Tai Railway. I believe it is not only the private capitals from Zhejiang Province, but there are also other different private capitals and private funds from other different provinces to participating in the project. The high-speed railway is going to benefit the whole nation, convenient people's livelihood, and also people's traffic hold. There is another question from the viewers. Is the private hold capital private investment can do a good job in railway construction? Thank you very much for your concern about the construction process and also the safety. The question is also one of our concerns. We believe that the Hangzhou high-speed railway is being invested by the private railways, but actually during its construction, it is working in the same procedure with the previous railways. It is being constructed by the China Railway Bureau 1, China Railway Bureau 10, and also China Railway Bureau 15. The construction criteria actually made up with the national requirement. We have strictly followed the requirement from the National Railway Bureau, and I believe that we are going to make it a safe journey for all of you. The requirement we are following is also meeting up with the national requirement for the railway tracks of 350 kilometers. In the process, we are seeing multiple quality and safety requirements. So it's not a question about whether private capitals can invest or construct railways. Just as Director Ma has introduced to us, private capitals is actually a new try for the whole nation to attract more different private capitals to invest in the national project. It is not going to dampen the previous technologies that we are adopting. I also believe the Hangzhou Railway is also going to be organized by the Shanghai Railway Station. It is under the joint effort of the Shanghai Railway Station. I believe you can be assured about the safety. There are also some of the viewers online ask a question about the railway fee compared with the previous state-owned railway. I can give you a quite surely answer. The private capital is actually only invested in the construction phase. It is not invested in the ticket pricing procedure or ticket pricing phase. So for the ticket is actually following the same price. I also want to explain another thing. We are not only want to play the rules of the private capitals. I also believe in the participations of the private capitals, the ticket will be cheaper and more convenient for the people who are actually undertaking this journey. So please, thank you very much for the questions. I also believe that our viewers have a very good list of questions. We have concluded all the different factors. This is what I have introduced to you. The currently operating Yongtai high-speed railway connecting Ningbo, Taizhou, and Wenzhou. For this high-speed railway, because it's approaching a station, that's the reason why it's slowing down. I believe this railway, the Yongtai railway, belongs to the category of the ballasted track. There are many different stone pieces paving below the track, but once the railway or once the locomotive is speeding up, it is going to swallow all kinds of the stone pieces up. So in terms of the craftsmanship, it is better for us to use the cemented foundation. I believe it is also going to make us a clean construction sites. This is also very environmental friendly, and it's also very helpful for all of us to protect the environment. I think some of the viewers online might care about the construction qualities of the railway. You could see there are some slogans here, which cited that the CPC party is always, the Communist Party is always leading the Hangzhou Railway, and we believe that we are also working together with different party committees. While we are having a very good and comprehensive control of the qualities of the railway construction, so please be assured it's going to be a safe journey. No matter it's state-owned or private-owned, in any single entity, the party is leading us in our future journey. So I could say here that no matter for the high-speed railways, I think it is providing a very good rules. The people-centered philosophy is not going to change. No matter who is the leader, we believe it is going to be convenient for the traffic and transportations for the general public. We could see the workers have already paved into a very long distance compared with what I'm standing right now. for just several minutes when we were talking to Director Mr. Zheng. Today we are also being blessed with a quite good weather. I believe the stone paving procedure and also the track laying procedure is also being benefited by the good weather. Once it's being constructed, the time it consumed on the journey from Hangzhou to Taizhou is going to be limited to 1 hour. But currently, if the travelers want to take the railway line on the other side, it is at least going to take them 2 hours. We are actually building up on a 1 hour traffic circle alongside the Zhejiang Province. For the general public, if they started from Hangzhou to Taizhou, and if they are venting to other different cities in Zhejiang, within 10 hours, within 1 hour, they can actually reach to everywhere in Zhejiang. I also believe that the track alongside our track is what we called Hangzhou to Wenzhou Railway, high-speed railway. It is also going to shorten the traffic time between Hangzhou to Wenzhou. Not only from the investment participations and the whole operations of the Hangzhou-Tai Railway, there are so many uniqueness. Let's ask Director Ma, apart from the private investment and private capitals, are there any innovations when we are going to operate the railway? Dear viewers, thank you very much for your concern. As a private capital held high-speed railway, we have always beheld the principles of people-centered and party-led. After the constructions and completions of Hangzhou-Tai high-speed railway, it is not only going to shorten the time to traffic and commute between Hangzhou and also Taizhou and Shaoxing. We are also going to introduce the concept of the smart city. It's also definitely going to benefit the general public. We have introduced the concept of the resting stations. It is going to enable the general public to rest themselves once they are footing on the railway. We are also going to introduce the most state-of-the-art 5G technologies to monitor every single step of the journey. It's going to be a safe and sound journey for everybody. It's also going to be a satisfying journey for everybody. You mentioned about the smart and intelligent station. Can you give us an example in the future? If I'm traveling from the Hangzhou-Tai station, are there any new experiences? I think in the operations of the stations, once you entered into the station with your smartphone at your hand, you can purchase order something online. You can actually find your seats with the smartphone. I believe every single one of us is looking for the openings and operations of the Hangzhou-Tai Railway. Let's look at other different questions from the viewers. I believe after listening to you, Director and Director Ma's introduction, I can hear the feedback from the viewers. They believe the company and also the state-owned enterprises can finish the work. So when it is going to be officially operated, and we have told you once again at the end of the year 2021, the railway line is going to be started to operate it. I also think that you can travel to many different cities in a very quick fashion. We have a viewer noticing that he's living in a village, but one mountain away from his village there is a high-speed railway. He never expected that. Another viewer mentioned that all the different stations that Hangzhou Railway is going to be connected in the future. So there's also questions about are there going to be any privately held high-speed railways in the western part of China? So I think all the viewers is actually asking for one same question. When will the Hangzhou Railway started its operation? I believe the completion of this journey is going to be at the end of this year. Thank you very much for your concern. That concludes today's live streaming.